Good evening, and welcome to the 2015 Future Leaders Program Youth Agenda. My name is Shakira Vaughn, and I'm the 2014-2015 Youth Mayor, and it is so nice to see you guys all tonight. Now we will have remarks from our acting MYA Program Director, Mr. Lamont Barnes.
Good evening, and again, welcome to our annual presentation to the mayor. And I know that tonight's event will be one that you will receive a lot of information from the hard work of our FLP group. The FLP participants decided to address two issues that are high on Mayor Jones' list of priorities. First, you will hear the Future Leaders Council members discuss teen poverty and how it impacts teens' ability to move forward. Then you will view the public service announcement put together in collaboration with the Richmond Police Department by our youth justice participants. The project is titled We Are One, and its focus is on how law enforcement and teens can work together. Thank you.
Now can we have the Teen Council please come to the podium? And can you guys please raise your hand as you are acknowledged? First, we have our Future Leaders Council Executive Board. Mr. Douglas Smith III, Youth Council President. Mr. Robert Allen IV, Youth Council Vice President. And Ms. Aisha Grantham, Youth Council Clerk. Our Youth Council members consist of Ms. Sade Akindele, Ms. Renee Bell, Mr. Deshaun Edwards, Ms. Maya Johnson, Ms. Ayana Kersey, Ms. Chardonnay Lewis, Ms. Stephanie Martin, Ms. Deja Monroe, Ms. Jemiah Roots, Ms. Valina Rose, Ms. Victoria Rose, Ms. Erica Smith, Ms. Demaria Simone Warden, and Ms. Trey Young. Now we will have Ms. Chardonnay Lewis on teen poverty.
Poverty is a state of one who lacks a certain amount of material possessions or money. It is a multifaceted concept which includes social, economical, and political elements. Poverty seems to be chronic, temporary, and most times is closely related to inequalities. Effects on poverty on teens. Academic problems, emotional difficulties, crimes, and stereotypes. Now we have Robert Aaron IV.
Good evening. The city of Richmond has become a thriving city that is the go-to place for all tourists visiting Virginia. The city of Richmond is becoming resurgent under the direction of Mayor Dwight C. Jones and the Richmond City Council. This is being done despite the turmoil and tragedies within our country. Yet there is still an underlying problem that affects citizens of our city every day, and that is living in poverty. Now we will have an article overview by Ms. Maya Johnson.
This is a Washington Post article review, trying to make it in a neighborhood with a 70% poverty rate. In Richmond, like in many cities, poverty has been fueled by overt policy choices that isolate the poor in certain neighborhoods. The highways, the schools, the public housing, all that stuff is the way people dealt with poverty. I think most cities know this, but I think our approach is more forthright. Poverty isn't sexy, it doesn't sell. When you have the tale of two cities, as most cities do, people don't really see the poverty, and they don't really want to hear about it. It's an uphill struggle, a quote from our Mayor Dwight C. Jones. This article is from October 31st, 2014, and a lot can happen in the span of 9 months, but a major change is just beginning to show itself in the Richmond community. Richmond is on a journey to stability, and going through the gravelly historic roads of Richmond, it is sure to be a bumpy ride. One place that sits as a reminder to the city's immense challenges for over 60 years now would be Creighton, a monument to failed public policy, and 98% of Creighton is African American. This is also the location of the poorest census tract in the city, with a poverty rate of 69.6% and an unemployment rate of 22%. Richmond poverty rate is more than double that of Virginia's and much higher than that of the nation. Now with Education by Sade Akindele.
Good evening. The effects of poverty on education has been a major issue in Richmond public schools. You can see in the schools that there's a complete different type of education as far as poverty. I believe that schools begin to have a lack of activities due to low incomes, homelessness, and property taxes. I have witnessed that many obstacles associated with preparing students for college. Advanced courses are rarely offered in these schools due to a lack of perceived eligible students. And most instructional times is spent on remediation and preparation for standardized tests. As stated in Mayor Dwight C. Jones' Anti-Poverty Commission report, 40% of the city's poverty population has less than high school education. And the poverty rate for this group is 6 times higher than that of college graduates in the city. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Virginia has a population of an estimate of 1,296,700 people living within its border. From that population, 204,241 people live in the city of Richmond. Out of the 750,000 people that live in poverty in the Commonwealth of Virginia, Richmond has a poverty rate of 27%. That is nearly 1/3 of the people that live here. When you look at the school systems around the city, you can clearly tell that the school systems are in pretty bad shape. Public schools get funding by the federal and state government. The state has various things that they use to get money for schools. For starters, they get money through income taxes and from state sales. Another way that schools get funding is through property taxes. When you look at the city of Richmond, 27% of the people live in poverty. So when you have schools, and all 5 of those high schools are located in middle to low class neighborhoods, how much funding do you think those schools are going to get compared to high schools located in high class neighborhoods? They will get the most money because they have a better economic pool to choose from, which automatically sets the schools in middle to low income neighborhoods at a disadvantage. Now we will have Ms. Stephanie Martin present how the face of poverty has changed.
The face of poverty has changed in the city of Richmond. Just by judging the outer appearance of a person, it is impossible to characterize them as someone living in poverty or being homeless. An unwashed face, dirty clothes, and torn apart shoes are the original characteristics of a homeless person. Now, some homeless people have found new and creative ways to get the things they need. We must recognize this dilemma in our city to allow them equal opportunities regardless of their financial barriers. Now we'll have Ms. Trey Young with People May Be Ashamed of Living in Poverty.
People may be living in poverty and be ashamed of it. For everyone, waking up in the morning is not always a delight. Maybe living conditions might not be what they should be. Food supply may be short, or they just might not have the latest updated fashions, but no one can help them if no one knows their situation. Poverty is nothing to be ashamed about. In Richmond, Virginia alone, the poverty level is at 27%, so just know you're not in your struggle alone. Now we'll have Mr. Mario Warden with Environment.
You are looking in the face of someone who has defied the odds. Statistically, people refer to me as a product of our environment because I live in the Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority, in which people refer to as a housing project. Little do they know, there are individuals that live in this housing that are not a part of the everyday stereotypical environment and are actually trying to do something with their life and better themselves. It is not necessarily true for everyone that you act according to where you live. Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority is originally meant to help you build your success and get on your feet. People take advantage of that purpose and end up making a permanent residence. Unfortunately, not everyone is lucky to have determined and supportive parents to help guide them. Some teens are actually forced to live a rough life and don't have a good parental guidance. Some teens are forced to take on responsibilities that they may not want to do. This is what makes it hard for teens to have faith in themselves and causes them to give up. We as a community should want better for our environment and teens alone. For some people, being a product of your environment is not by choice, but by force. Now we will welcome Erica Smith with Behavior.
Due to poverty, a lot of youth have behavior problems in school, at home, and within their community. Poverty can affect a child's feelings and actions. They try to find a way to escape or hide from their reality. Poverty will distract a teen from doing well in school, and the stress of doing well may frustrate them. This may cause them to act out because they think no one understands what they are going through. They just need help working through the problems instead of pushing them away like another bad statistic. Now we will have Jemiah Roots with Stereotypes.
In today's society, everything is based on appearance. What someone wears and how they look should not matter at all. People typically judge others by their outward appearance, and that is not right. People should accept others no matter how they look. Teens try to have a certain image to fit in with the crowd. Most teens cannot afford to keep up with the current trends. Therefore, they may get bullied and treated like outsiders by their parents. I will now be introducing Ms. Felina Rose on hunger.
Every day you see people on the streets begging for food. School-age children suffer due to the fact they don't know where their next meal is coming from. Oftentimes, school-age children only come to school to receive a meal. Now I will introduce Ms. Ayana Kersey.
Good evening. Food deserts are an area of land which people cannot afford the nutritious food their body needs. This is a problem in Richmond that affects youth. Teens obtain little or no nutrients from the junk food they buy out of local convenience stores. Without the proper nutrition, childhood diseases can form. I think we could stop food deserts by putting fresher vegetables and fruits in convenience stores. I believe that we should have more grocery stores in our local neighborhoods. Now introducing Ms. Victoria Rose.
Crime has a deeper effect on Richmond City youth. Every time I look on the news, I see crime with teens. Teens are losing parents, siblings, and friends due to this violence. Next, I will introduce Ms. Renee Bell.
Good evening. My name is Renee Bell. I am too often judged by the neighborhood in which I reside. People automatically assume that I am associated with negativity in my community. The community that I live in is not bad. It is the people that are trying to make a better life for themselves. That gives my neighborhood a negative stereotype. I have also been a victim to robberies and assaults in my neighborhood. Now presenting Ms. Aisha Grant.
Good evening. I have seen firsthand how violence can affect youth in my community. Oftentimes, we as youth tend to reflect the negative things that we experience in our communities. It is our responsibility to not become another statistic.
Now introducing Ms. Shakira Vaughn. Our first recommendation is to unite RVA Community Awareness Day. The goal of this event is to partner with Mayor Jones, Richmond City Council, community leaders, City of Richmond agencies, local businesses, and healthcare providers to bring awareness to teen poverty. The theme surrounding this event would be #InPovRVA. Some examples include health and dental screenings, personal hygiene, food pantries, and employment opportunities. Now we will have Deja Monroe with recommendation 2.
Recommendation 2. A food drive or food pantry to collect food for the City of Richmond. Start a social media campaign, #InPovRVA, to bring awareness to poverty and give food donations. Create an Instagram page would be the best way to get youth attention. Youth all over the City of Richmond have Instagram pages. For the youth who do not have access, located inside the cafeteria, they will find flyers. The food pantry will contain canned foods and everyday hygiene items. On different holidays, the items may change. The food pantry should be located at the MYA headquarters for the privacy of the youth. In our generation, some of our youth are mature and will tease the youth that use the pantry. By having the pantry at the headquarters, nobody has to know. FLP members will partner with others and donate 2 to 4 items a week. Now we have Mr. Deshaun Edwards.
Poverty can affect the youth's lives in either a positive or negative manner. It is all about the individual's mindset. Just because a person is raised in poverty does not mean you cannot change your situation for the better. Most teens make up excuses because of where they are from. Many teenagers that come from poverty-stricken situations have been successful in life. Yes, we have acknowledged that we have an issue with poverty in the city of Richmond, but teens should not allow obstacles to affect their future. Thank you all very much for your time and attention regarding youth poverty in our city.
Good evening, Mayor Jones, city officials, parents, and student leaders. My name is Khadijah Baker, and I'm a rising senior at Thomas Jefferson High School. I'm a member of the Youth Justice Leadership Team. Youth Justice leaders include Kiana Adkins, Jakiah Becote, Taymon Coleman, Amira Dove, Trael Handsome, Emmanuel Hernandez, Miguel Hernandez, Moncel Johnson, and Maja Perry. Youth Justice is a youth court system designed to provide alternatives to teens who are faced with punishment from their school or from the justice system. This is the second year for the Youth Justice program. In the first year, the program heard over a dozen cases involving teens faced with out-of-school suspension. This year, Youth Justice was prepared to hear cases involving middle school students. However, RPS wanted to move in a different direction regarding disciplinary issues. Next year, Youth Justice will partner with Richmond Court Services to offer diversion options to teens in the legal system. Youth Justice leaders are committed to making a difference in the lives of our teen peers. So this year, we chose an advocacy project that is relevant to an issue that teens face today. Moved by the news reports from Ferguson, Missouri, and Baltimore, Maryland, we wanted to provide a bridge of understanding between police and teens. We wanted to understand law enforcement, how law enforcement carried out their duties, and we wanted to inform teens of how to have positive interactions with law enforcement. As a result, we created the We Are One campaign. We believe that both law enforcement and teens want the same thing, a peaceful community. It is up to us to be the change we want to see in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a short documentary of what we learned during our research. At the end of the video, you will see the public service announcement that we filmed with the Richmond Police Department. We want our PSA to keep law enforcement and teens safe in our community. I was a little bit afraid of the police because I've had past experiences with family.
Let's reach out and speak to someone and become friends with those folks that we serve.
I thought this was going to be another lecture. I thought that this stimulation was going to be very, easy and, oh, this is just something to do before we start what we have to do. But after it was a very eye-opening experience, and it put me in the shoes of an officer. It let me know that this is not an easy job at all, and not anybody can just do this. It takes dedication, and it takes training, because this is hard, but I learned a lot, and it made me appreciate the work of officers very much.
Well, at the beginning, I thought that it was just going to be like an easy thing to do. I didn't think that it was going to be like anything that would like have me shaken up or scared or anything. I didn't think that it would be something that would have me like really like have my heart racing, and I thought that it would be a lot like easier. I guess I underestimated the things that police officers do, and the fact that I came up here and tried and did these things on simulation, it was like, I can't believe this is like really what's going on, and like all the bad decisions that I could have made if this was a real life situation for me, and like what I could end up being, or where I could end up, like where I would be if I made the wrong decision at the wrong time. So
when we first arrived, I felt like, I really didn't know what to think of it because I don't have experience. But after we finished the session, I feel that everybody should listen to what everybody say now that I tried the simulation game.
When I first got here, I didn't really think much of it. Like, you told us we were going to do a simulation. I thought it was just going to be like, okay, get in front. I thought it was going to be like a group thing, get in front of the screen, we do some little thing. I didn't know it was going to be as intense as it was, and I didn't think I was going to be shooken up. But now I know that what the police officers do is hard, and it takes a lot of decision making, and it's not something that I would be able to do just without training. And
when the van had pulled up outside and we walked in, I just thought we would just come here just to do another thing, to let the officers talk about what they normally talk about and what they go through. But after, I just felt how it would feel to be in the officer's shoes doing the simulation. I was shook up, I was a little scared.
Well, I know the things, like we usually talk to police officers, they tell us how difficult their job is. And they handed me that gun. It wasn't even a real one, but that gun's a lot heavier than it looks in more ways than one. And when we were doing the simulation, I thought about if I was a police officer, my family would never see me again, and I got really scared. So to be put in that situation and to have the same thought go through your mind as them, it's really hard to do what they do. And really props to whoever chooses to do this, because this seems like one of the hardest things in the world to do to me.
When I first walked into the police academy, I had an idea of what police officers go through, but after I experienced it today, I have a different perspective of what they go through. And I think police officers deserve more credit than what they do deserve, because it's not easy being a police officer.
The policemen have to make very tough decisions, and when I have a very different perspective now, because after what the chief said, I know that it's not easy to be a police officer. But now that I see what policemen actually have to do, I'm not afraid anymore, because I know that they're just trying to serve and protect, and what they do is because they have to do it. It's because they're faced with a threat. They have to make split decisions.
The best way is with respect. I think that, that's what we're falling short in as a society, but people don't respect one another. No, we're all human beings. When you come up, hello officer, how are you doing? And the same, it goes both ways. I expect my officer to give respectful also. If you have officers who are disrespectful, who you feel they have not provided the adequate services that you think as a citizen that you deserve, to file a complaint. But we always tell folks to comply, then complain.
When interacting with police officers, remember to remain calm, understand that they have a job to do.
Do what you're asked to do, and then if you feel wrong, comply and complain to a supervisor.
Remember that respect is mutual.
And be the change you want to see in your community.
We are one.
Unfortunately, Chief Derham was unable to be with us this evening, but he did send a video presentation to address the group. So Ms. Wakefield is going to load that video so that way we can view what the Chief had to say.
Good evening. I am Chief Alfred Derham of the Richmond Police Department. I want to thank the Mayor's Academy, especially the Future Leaders Program, for their public service announcement, We Are One. This campaign symbolizes the relationship we have built with our youth in the city. I was excited when the Future Leaders Program youth approached me with the We Are One project. With all of the challenges across the country between law enforcement agencies and its communities, I am pleased to know that in Richmond, we are building strong alliances with our youth. This campaign embodies the position that both Mayor Jones and I have for the city of Richmond. We not only believe that we are one, we pride ourselves on providing opportunities for our youth in our great city. For 6 years, my department have committed to sponsoring youth through the Mayor's Youth Academy. As we move forward, we will always be a resource and a training ground for youth in our city. In closing, I want to thank the Future Leaders Program youth for participating in the Milo training. This simulation training allows my officers to undergo real-life scenarios that they may handle on the street. We extended this opportunity to the Future Leaders cohort for them to experience the complexities our officers face daily in making split-second decisions. They learned firsthand how my officers are expected to make decisions that ultimately change their lives and the citizens we serve. It is my hope that their Milo experience gave them a better understanding of what we encounter. Remember, the greatest resource we have is each other. I, along with the men and women of the Richmond Police Department, look forward to our continued partnerships with the Mayor's Youth Academy Future Leaders Program as we continue our efforts to make Richmond the best city in the country. Again, we are one.
I would like to invite Major Drew to come up to say a few remarks regarding the police department and our relationship. Thank you.
Good evening. On behalf of Chief Derham and the Richmond Police Department, I'm Major Steve Drew. You just heard from our chief, and I couldn't say it better than he has. I think he laid it out very clear. And some of the expressions that the videos for us that were there that day and got to see some of the reactions, I think you all captured it very well in your video presentation. I believe that today youth play a more important role in society than ever before. You have fresh ideas, your creative minds, and you bring new energy to the table. In this room are the future leaders of our city and our nation. And as I look around, as it was mentioned by a few earlier today, as I look around other parts of the country, I see the interaction between youth and law enforcement. And I am more and more appreciative of our city, the police department, and the young adults that are here today and throughout our city. The issues that you've addressed tonight are real, they're difficult, and they're challenging. Just by taking part in this program, I think you're saying that you want to see a difference and make a change. There's some challenging times in our country today, but I also believe that during those times creates the best opportunity for leaders to come forward and make a change. And I think we're in a room surrounded by great leaders today. I've been fortunate to have interactions and conversations with the members of the Mayor's Youth Academy. And to sum it up, I am extremely impressed. To see you go through some of the exercises and how long it took us to get that video straight on that photograph, I think the thing I learned the most and enjoyed the most was the side conversations, hearing about what you were going to do this summer, what your thoughts were about our city, and things that you had seen around the country, things you would change. To stop and just think and consider those things, I think, is extremely important. I appreciated your questions and certainly your comments. So how do we build better relationships with the youth in our city? Through interaction, mentoring, and simply listening. Letting these young leaders know that we care about them, that we respect them, and we want them to all succeed. In closing, I want to thank the mayor of our city for for your vision and leadership of this program. And to each of you who took part, build on these opportunities and take advantage of them. Remember, we learn as much from you as you all ever will from us. Thank you so much for taking part in this. Thank you for being here tonight. Have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Now please help me welcome the Honorable Mayor Dwight C. Jones.
Mayor of Richmond, it became apparent to me that I had within my power the opportunity to do something about something that people had ignored for so long. Poverty is not new in the city of Richmond. And as you mentioned in the Mark Washington Post article, many times poverty is the result of overt policies, intentional policies that were made years and years ago that created these islands of poverty that cut people off from the rest of the people in the city. You can live in the city of Richmond and not know that poverty exists. It's because highways were designed to divide the haves from the have-nots. But if Richmond's going to succeed, it's only going to succeed when we level the playing field. We've got to fix it so that everybody has an opportunity. We've got to fix it so that everybody has a chance. We've got to fix it so that living conditions and environments and education are equal in the West End as they are in the East End. We've got to make that happen. And by you making the decision to invest in issues such as hunger, because hunger is real, food deserts are real, by investing in issues such as education, I think that you have really chosen ways that can make a difference. And I welcome the input that has come from you today. I welcome the fact that you are thinking about weighty and meaningful issues, because you don't know now, but what you're doing today will affect you for the rest of your lives. For the rest of your lives, you will not know it, but it's going to kick in. And you're going to think about what you did in the Mayor's Youth Academy, the Future Leaders Council, and somehow, some way, you are going to become more passionate as young adults, more passionate as adults. You're going to find yourself helping people and trying to change the world in which you live. For that, I congratulate you. The social justice piece, the youth justice piece is powerful. I'm glad that you have the opportunity to hold those guns and to be frightened by real-life experiences. Many people don't know it, but the chief of police calls me night or day, sometimes in the middle of the night, whenever there is a homicide. And Major Drew, when he had the responsibility of being in charge, called me in the middle of the night, somebody got shot, somebody got murdered, somebody is in danger. We've had a of marijuana. And the truth of the matter is that policemen are the first ones on the scene. They're the ones who are credited with bringing criminals to justice, and they do a fabulous job. And we've got to learn how to have mutual respect. We need to have respect for the police, and the police have to have respect for us. And I believe that we have that kind of context in the city of Richmond, and that's the reason why I believe we have not had a Ferguson or a Baltimore in this city. And so today I just want to really congratulate you on the job well done. I just love seeing your development. I love turning on the television and seeing Shakira. And love listening to Doug, who you're the president of the council. You've both done a wonderful job, and each of you, I've listened to how you have developed your speaking skills, your comfortability in the presence of the public. Is going to serve you well as you go on to be the leaders of Richmond and as you go on to be leaders of our country. And I'm hoping that many of you will decide after you go on to get your college degrees, that you go on to get your trades and so forth, to make your lives in Richmond, to make your homes in Richmond, so that you can really be a part of the change that we want to see in our city. So thank you so much for what you've done. Let me just say a word to the parents who have been so vital in making sure that you get where you need to be and that you are a part of this program. So young people, give your parents and your guardians around.
Thank you, Mayor Jones, for those remarks. Mayor, if you would join me at the podium so we can issue the certificates of completion to all of our FLP members. Members, when you're called, please come up, shake the mayor's hand, and pause for a picture. I think, Tyler, you're filming. Okay. All right, so when you're called, you stand up front. Okay. There. Kiona Atkins. Sade Akindele. Robert Allen IV. Khadijah Baker. Do not want to mess up this young lady's name, so I'm going to say Miss B. Coach. Renee Bell. Taman Coleman. Tamon Coleman. Amelia Dove. Deshaun Edwards. Aisha Grantham. Trael Hanson. Emmanuel Hernandez. Miguel Hernandez. Maya Johnson. Monsell Johnson. Ayana Kersey. Charnay Lewis. Stephanie Martin. Deja Monroe. Myasia Perry. Jemiah Roots. Valina Rose. Victoria Rose. Douglas Smith III. Erica Smith. Shakir Vaughn.
She's been on television and in the papers so much, I'm jealous.
Demaria Simone Warden. Trey Young. BJ, would you have your closing remarks, please? Ms. BJ Northerton, Deputy DCAO for the City of Richmond. Assistant to the Deputy CAO, excuse me, Assistant to the Deputy CAO of Human Services.
Good evening. Good evening. Wow, this was fabulous. I am really, really inspired. This was wonderful. I'm BJ Northington. I'm the assistant to the DCAO of Human Services, Ms. Deborah Gardner. And unfortunately, she was not able to be here this evening, but I know that had she been, she would have been just as impressed as I am. Truly, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I'm a wife of a law enforcement person. So, you know, the presentation was awesome. And yeah, the PowerPoint presentations were as well. I like to just thank Lamont, and I'd like to thank the staff of MYA. You have a great program when you have great people running it. So let's give them a round of applause. And I can personally say that I see him every day running around, so I know how hard he works. But this could not have happened without the support of family. So again, I'd like to recognize your support, your family who's here tonight. And certainly the mayor, because this is his academy. It's the Mayor's Youth Academy. Okay? And let me just say that I had the privilege of going to the Capitol earlier this week. It was the 16th, which is Wednesday. I forget things, but it was Wednesday. And there were other members of the Mayor's Youth Academy who received a special recognition from the governor and from the commissioner of DMV. Several times tonight, I heard that change thing was a recurring theme. And it is so true. You have to be the change you wish to see in this world. And obviously, you are making changes because you're being recognized. You're being recognized for your efforts, and you're being recognized for your leadership. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and share this with you. It was really, really inspiring, and I got to meet some of my new friends here, graduating, going to culinary school and all these things, and it's just been fabulous. The mayor has a charge, so I'm going to go ahead and close out. So again, on behalf of the DCAO of Human Services, Deborah Gardner, thank you all so much. Know that you are supported by our office, and if there's anything that you need, go to Lamont. Thank you.
Now we'll have final words by our Honorable Mayor Dwight C. Jones.
I don't want to bring you down, but I just want to make sure that we don't dismiss the fact that a terrible thing has happened in our country today or yesterday. And I want all of us to be mindful of it. In Charleston, South Carolina, on last night, 9 people were gunned down, murdered in a church. And I just want us to close with a moment of silence so that each of us in our own way can reflect for a moment and hope and pray and believe that these young people will make our world a better place in which to live. So let's all stand in just a moment of silence as we think about not only the state senator who lost his life, but also those 9 people who lost their lives in this senseless hate crime that happened in South Carolina last night. So just a moment of silence as you think about your life and how we can make a difference in our own community. And as we pray for those families that have lost their loved ones in this senseless acts of violence. Amen. Thank you so much for being here tonight.